Hey everyone, welcome to Billings Farm at Home. This is Tiana, and the reason why you only see my hands is because I'm going to teach you how to finger knit today. For finger knitting, you don't need a lot of stuff. You need yarn and fingers. So there are a few different ways to finger knit. I'm going to teach you what I think is the easiest one. We're going to start it by tying a very loose, simple knot around your thumb. This is just to keep the end in place so it doesn't all slip off and pull away. Then I'm going to take your yarn and you're going to wrap it around your fingers. You're going to go behind, in front, behind, in front, behind, front, behind, front. Now if you take a look, it looks like there is a strand of yarn on each finger, and if you look at the back of your fingers, it's going to be the same. Then you're going to take your yarn, wrap it around your hand, and each of these strands of yarn, we're going to call it a stitch, is going to get pulled up and over this new yarn that we just put on our fingers. Lift up and over, and notice how I'm bending my fingers to help hook around that new yarn so that it doesn't get pulled off by accident. Then you're going to take your yarn and you're going to wrap it again. And you're going to lift these stitches up and over, up and over, up and over, over, and then you're going to do it again. Knitting is one of those things where you do it over and over. You do the same thing over and over and over. But if you think about it, that's the same thing that happens when you're walking. You take the same steps over and over and over. But knitting isn't like walking on a treadmill where you keep walking and you don't get anywhere. It's more like going for a hike outside or just taking a walk anywhere. Because as you're doing it, something's happening. So at this point, you can take the yarn off your thumb and look at the back of your hand. There's not just one strand there. Now you've got an actual cord. It's called I-cord. Take a look at that. That grew from you just doing the same thing over and over and over. And you can watch it grow, especially with finger knitting. The stitches are nice and big, so you can watch it grow pretty quickly. And this is a wonderful thing because you can do this anywhere, which is why I'm able to be outside in the beautiful sunshine today. So just keep going up and over, up and over. So you can do this, riding in the car, waiting for something to happen, just listening to books. I love listening to books and doing crafts. And you can make these as long as short as you want. But if you're doing this while you're waiting for something, you're going to want to stop sometimes if it's time to do whatever. And so for that, you can use, if you want to pause, you can use a pipe cleaner, safety pin, a paper clip, or even just a pencil. And the idea is to get your hands free. So you take the stitches and slide them onto whatever you're going to use to hold your knitting. And then, now with some of these you want to be careful because this could slide off the pencil, but if you're just tugging on the yarn, it's not going to come apart. And so then you can put it down and you can come back, slide the stitches back onto your fingers, just like this, and then start again. And keep going and make it longer if you want it to be longer. This is how all knitting happens. It's taking loops over new yarn. And this happens when it's on needles, like you see people doing, and you should always try knitting with needles because it's a lot of fun. Or in factories. If you look closely at your t-shirt, it's actually knit. Most clothes you have that are stretchy are knit. And you can see the sort of V-shaped stitches that you see here in your finger knitting. You can see that in your t-shirt. That just has a lot of very tiny hooks and very tiny thread. You couldn't make a t-shirt with finger knitting, unfortunately, or at least it wouldn't look the same. So once you get this to be however long you want it to be, which can be any length, it's up to you, you're then going to cut your yarn. And instead of leaving the new stitch on your fingers, you're going to slip it off. pull the end through. And boom, done. Not going to come apart. And look at that. I've got a lovely cord that I can use for all sorts of things. Thanks for watching.